two outstanding divers in this 1 meter final.
Yeah, some things to look for. So I think, you know, in the presentation order, the top 8 Canadians make the final. We have
our referee for this event. Please welcome
been
Eric
representing
Say.
Portugal internationally, so she doesn't
Judge
displace
number
any
1,
Canadians
Beth
on the podium
Judge
or
number
making the
2,
final.
Right.
That's why we have
Power.
9 this time.
But she
Judge
gets to
number 3,
compete
Sarah
in this final,
Todd.
which is
Judge
obviously,
number 4,
I think
Barb
the more you
Bush.
get to compete
Judge number 5,
against your rivals,
Ainsley Oliver.
and I say against,
Judge number 6,
I
Stefan
want to
Larkin.
say with,
And judge
right,
number
because I always
7,
said that. I
Josie
compete with the guys,
Josten.
right? And so the more you get to showcase, the more you get to experience these situations of finals like this, whether you're not available to win a medal or not, it's good for the international season that's about to start.
And if you place in the medals, it still feels like a medal.
You know, of course it does. I mean, they got there, right?
Yeah. And I think, yeah, like you said, Amelie is certainly going to be the one to watch. She's just steady. Has really come on in the last few years here.
And you just mentioned a key word here, and this will go on for the whole weekend. Steadiness, consistency is the key in diving. Make as little mistakes as possible, obviously, is what the judges are looking for. You'll hear us talk about the distance from the board, obviously the splash into the water, which is what, about 80% of the dive?
Yeah, I look at it as, you know, the splash is kind of what determines your score, and then you kind of work backwards. How was the takeoff? How was the position in the air? How was the verticality? And then, of course, how was the distance? But if you don't have that vertical splashless entry, you're not going to look at an 8, really.
It's what the judges are essentially looking for. And on the 1 meter, too, it's a little more difficult to get that rip, that like perfectly non-splash, the sound, the effectiveness of it, right?
I think it's almost, there's 2 angles to it, because the higher you go, the more impact you have on the water. So it's almost harder. You have to be more technically correct to get a great entry. But on 1 meter, you have to be technically correct to get that sound and beautiful disappearance, although you can get away with imperfection and you still won't splash too much, but it's not as satisfying.
Satisfying. Okay. Well, we want to satisfy the judges so that they give the big score.
Yes, and the crowd.
Crowd as well?
This is one of those events where when you watch it live, the sound of an entry, the sound of the eruption of the crowd on a great one is what gives you the goosebumps.
And the judges feel that too, I find. If the people around the pool deck are getting psyched up for a good dive or a great dive, they feel it too. And that can sort of get the score maybe a 0.5.
We turn the event over to our referee.
And we're just about ready to start here.
Our first
This is Kellyanne Tessier. You'll see her dancing and singing for probably most of the event. That's what she does.
One twist.
So we'll kick it off here. First diver, Ella Lindsay from the P in Ottawa. She'll be doing a forward 1.5 somersault with 1 twist.
She's changed her order a little bit. She had a rough start in the prelim, much more solid beginning here.
Okay, it's good for the confidence here.
I like that strategy. Go with something you're confident with on the first dive.
Judges award.
That's right. A little bit short from the vertical here. The judges will deduct for that.
6 1/2.
Could see she was a little bit on the corner too, so that's the nerves, right? On the springboard.
And we talked about earlier, this is where that coordination and maturity and timing.
Oh yes.
You want to go, there's a little bit of risk and reward in the sport. So the higher you go in the hurdle, the higher potential you have, the more risk of not being right-centered and getting the best jump off in the end.
All right, Kellyanne Tessier from the Camo Diving Club. She begins with a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Pretty vertical dive.
Yep.
Maybe not quite finishing as high as we're going to see some of the other divers coming up.
But that comes with the work on the board, right? It's tricky because you have to take your time, but you also have to get off of that board as soon as you can.
You've got to wait, and then you got to go fast.
Right.
Yeah, and she went her fast, maybe a little too early, so she didn't get quite as high as she could have.
All right. Up next, from Camo Diving Club still, Roselyne Despatie, and for those wondering,
Looks like she spelled her name wrong.
Well,
Last name is a little bit off.
we are not relatives. But I'm glad to see that there's another dépatie in the sport of diving.
No kidding.
She'll be doing an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Beautiful dive.
Good start.
That's a solid, confident start. I think we'll see a lot of people starting with an inward 1.5 or finishing with an inward 1.5.
Well, that's
Beautiful
right.
position
It's
with
a
that
good point
pike.
you're making. You want to start with a dive that you're comfortable with, but also finish, because you might be in a situation where you need to get some points out of that last dive to be
Sport
up
for
in the
every
rankings.
child, Luisa Flaguero
That
Arco,
last one is
performing
always that you
403
want to fight right to
inward
the end.
1.5.
Yep.
At times you get a little frustrated, you know, it hasn't gone as well as you wanted.
Keep a
You
good
put
one
your
in the
last
bank.
dive in.
That's right.
Move up some spots in here.
Luisa Flaguero Arco from Sport for Every Child in Edmonton. So she's sort of a local, you should say.
She's from Alberta.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Inward 1.5 pike, beautifully done. Little short from the vertical here, but a nice entry in the water.
Judges
Not
award.
quite as finished
6,
as
6 and 1/2.
Rosaline
6,
had.
6 and 1/2, 6 and 1/2. 6
Talk
and
about
1/2.
shorter
6 and
vertical,
1/2.
just a little bit under rotated.
Right. The direction you take from the board will help you feel comfortable during the dive. If you're pushing back on inwards, it
It's
just
like
makes it
it's
harder.
Sort of, yeah. But yeah, trajectory is so much. The more vertical you come up in the beginning, the more it almost just feels like it pulls you straight down in at the end.
Here's Daniela
Same
Derevska.
dive.
Same dive.
Lots of inward 1.5s in this first round.
Nice.
So much power in
I
that
was
takeoff.
talking about younger divers coming up, whether it's on the women's side or the men's side, with so much power. Daniela is definitely one of them. She's 16 years old, I believe, so the future of her diving on
She's just
springboard.
entering the A group this year. Super strong, such a hard worker. Just, you can see it in her diving, improving so much every year. Already good. Fronts and inwards really a strength
Right.
for her.
From Point Claire Dive,
But you need the back and
Mackenzie
reverse
Vine,
as well.
Luke Cachero,
So you
performing
got to master
403
everything.
inward
Yes,
1.5,
this is,
pike
you need to be
position.
well-rounded in this sport and
Oh, yeah.
well-rounded at excellence.
Here's Mackenzie May Van Ut Cachero from the Point Claire Diving Club, also doing an inward 1.5 pike.
Well,
Nicely done.
Super high, yeah, straight in. A little bit slow, I think, compared to the others.
That's
Which
right.
doesn't
Finds
matter
the
on the
vertical.
1 meter,
Yep.
but vertical, 7s, solid scores. You hold 7s in this event, you're going to do very well.
You know, if you can keep that up for 4 more rounds.
Now here's, I love Orly's diving.
Oh, yes.
This-
Orly is one of the youngsters that just came into the sport a couple of years ago from gymnastics, and clearly something is going right because
Yeah, we talk
bright
about
future.
power and things, and she has speed and power and is doing the hardest dives
Oh, yes.
in this event with ease, but then also we talk about the maturity and experience in controlling your power. With
That's
power
right.
comes responsibility.
back 1.5 pike here with a lot of responsibility here for Orly, so just going a little bit far from the vertical. But like you said, it's as clear as can be. You want to be strong, but you really got to be able to dose it.
Yeah, and it does take time to really know where you are, especially those back and reverse directions, feeling where you are, and then
Those,
going for that entry.
those blind entries, as we call them. Alexa Fung here with an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Oh, nice.
Another strong inward 1.5.
Oh, yes.
We've seen all good inward 1.5 so far. Great pike position.
Straight
Beautiful
legs,
entry.
pointed feet. That's what the judges want to see also. I'm one to be very favorable for the, how can I call it, the beauty of the dive. I like pointed feet, straight legs in the pike position. And here comes Amélie Laura Jasmin, and I've given her trouble for this because it's one of her, it's one of the things she has to work on every day, which she does.
Yeah. Got to work on it at the right moment, too.
Absolutely. And Amélie will also be doing an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Pretty straight legs and toes there.
Absolutely. It's almost like she listened to what we were saying.
Yeah, we do have a live feed into their ears sometimes.
So very strong, and that's something you're going to see throughout this whole event from Amélie, jumping way up high in the air.
Yeah, this ankle I think also is really, really good to see what they do under the water. You can see a lot of work on that, what we call a pike save, where they are straight above the water, and as soon as they touch, they're getting into a pike position, almost a forward roll under the water.
And that sucks the water in. So that really helps for the ripped entry, the non-splash entry that the judges are looking for.
And like so many of these things, that timing is so crucial. We're going to see the standings, I think, in the second here. And these are after the first of 5 rounds.
Standings will come. Divers still have to
we'll
focus.
See some standings,
yeah.
And they're almost meaningless at this point, 1/5 of the way through. Divers putting different strategies in their order, so things sort of come together as we get really into the 3rd and 4th round. It's like a building chess, not chess so much, but it does build as the competition goes on, as divers get past their weaker dives. Oh, so much better.
Back 1.5 pike, really nicely done here.
That was her Achilles heel in the prelim, which she still managed to come back and make the final. This will move her up from 8th.
Oh, definitely. And if you keep doing steady dives like these ones, that will definitely be a positive thing going forward. So,
yeah. Ella, we talked about elegance and beauty in the dives. Ella, one of those divers that really exemplifies the lines, the toes, entries, the movement, just fluidity of movement.
I feel it's still important, and you stand out when you do have that, right? No matter what the event is, whether it's 3 meter, 1 meter, 10 meters, if you have elegance throughout each dive, then it shows. Another back 1.5 somersault pike here from Kellyanne Tessier. Nicely done.
Solid dive again.
That's right.
2 good dives in a row.
I'd like to see the body a little more toned up for the entry in the water, right?
Yeah.
Which would make it just a little cleaner.
Precision. There's just that little bit of.
But she's dancing.
Splash.
She's having a good time.
Not disrupting her mood. In fact, this is probably a great competition strategy. Keep yourself light, open. You can always come back to moving around.
Of course. Up next, Roselyne Despatie, forward 2.5 somersault pike. I really enjoyed the pike position here in this dive. Kept her head in a little bit, so goes past the vertical right here.
Yeah, that had potential. That was great. Pike positions look beautiful on her. Her inward really showcased it.
Yep.
A little bit over.
It's all right. No major mistake here, but want to stay focused and get ready for the next one.
Training in Edmonton, but represents Portugal in international events. She trains with Dave Flewelling, longtime Edmonton coach, also a former junior national.
I want to say like
champion.
A lifetime.
Although he's from Montreal.
You see? For as long as I can remember, Dave's been coaching in Edmonton. And for Louisa, back 1.5 pike. A little short from the vertical here, missing a little speed in the rotation.
Yeah, and then also not getting lined up. Even when you're a little short, you can still put these in.
There's some work to be done, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to maybe arch your back a little bit, not too much.
Yeah.
There's always ways to find that vertical. Here comes Daniela now. Hometown girl with a back 1.5 somersault half twist. Wow. That's a disappearance act.
Yeah,
right
great
there.
entry, great height. Again, forward entry for her.
Which is her
Nice
strength.
and high, yeah. A little bit lower degree of difficulty than some of the other twisting dives we'll see.
But you know what? I find that, and that goes for all the events, I find that in a lot of cases, and a lot of people, they're trying, it's like a mathematical competition. You want the big dives and the big degree of difficulty. If you can do your dives in a really near to perfect way, then maybe it's worth taking the hit on the degree of difficulty, right?
Well, they don't, it's not who has the highest difficulty that wins the event. It's the most points on the dive.
And there's Mackenzie May here, forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Yeah, nice position again. Nice, just a nice soft
Nice
board
flow.
ride. I like this. Yeah, she's fluid in her diving.
Coming out of that rotation maybe just a little bit early. That keeps her short from the vertical.
Aurelie.
All right. Aurelie representing the Agami Diving Club. She'll also be doing a forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Yeah, and watch this speed.
Yep, that works.
A little bit like Rosaline. Just that
Exactly.
little bit over. Nice pike. Just, she's got deceptive power. You don't realize that she's as strong as she is and as quick as she is until, zip, she's up in the air.
Until she's in the air,
spinning
exactly.
like crazy.
And that will come with time and competition also. I feel like for a lot of these springboard divers, you gotta be in those situations, in a final situation where there's a little more stress. Get to know yourself, how you react towards the board. As Alexa Fung is also doing a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Well, did it great in the prelims. Maybe not quite as good as her preliminary one, but still very good. 2.5. Best one we've seen so far.
For 7s and 7.5s.
Yeah, still a little over rotated, so there was potential for more. But nice and high.
And it's interesting, you know, and you're a coach now, so you know what it's like. Finish a dive, go see the coach, but we really want to be thinking about the next one already, right?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit, and I don't know how you felt about it, but when you go to your coach and you just do a little bit of like a closure on the last one.
Right.
Whether you hit it or didn't.
Amelie
And
with
even
a
better.
forward 2.5 pike, also way up in the air. Beautiful legs and feet. I'm going to give her that for this one. And look at this. And we spoke about distance from the board. Maybe some of you watching will think, oh, she looked like her feet were going to maybe tip the board. No, that's the right distance. That is exactly what the judges want to see. And those are the parents, mom and dad.
Just having a little chat with them right before the event started.
I was. I almost got late to my own event here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just see also, like with her, it just looks confident, simple. There's no extra movements.
Right.
Which are one of the other things that add to the elegance and the beauty of diving. Sort of, there's some dynamic moves, but then there's also a stillness in the motion.
Control.
Yeah.
It's really just not, like you said, working more than you have to. So coming up, third round of dives here. Ella Lindsay with a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Oh, nice.
That's great for her.
Beautiful.
Like a little back from the end of the board. This is a little.
No panic.
No panic, staying with it, not pushing it out, not panicking on the come out. Just
Because
nice.
being in the wrong position on the board, and this is, and I'm no coach, but you are.
Yes,
I
but
feel
you
like
did
you
the
want
dives,
to.
yeah.
I feel like you want to tell your divers, look, don't expect the perfect hurdle or the perfect approach, because in competition, it's very rare that it's going to come. So no panic, execute the technique, and that worked really well for Ella Lindsay.
Yeah, I don't know how you felt about it, but often I feel like the perfect hurdle was almost too good, and then you did a great takeoff.
Yeah, didn't know what
When you
to
had
do with
like
it.
a slightly off hurdle, you're distracted enough that then you just put it right in.
All right, Kellyanne, reverse 1.5 pike. Overstretched a little bit at the end here, which was not necessary, but a good takeoff. Right here.
Right up there, good entry, nice toes, like tight movement, even though she's going over, staying tight right through the end. steady.
Yeah, no big mistakes so far for Kellyanne. So here comes Rosalind Despatie with a back 1.5 somersault pike.
She showed us beautiful pikes on inward and front. Let's see if she also gets in nice and tight on the back. Yeah, maybe not quite as squeezed as she did on the others.
But it's good for you to bring it up, because sometimes right here, you take off the board, your legs will bend just a little bit before getting it to the pike. We didn't see that here. She did keep it a little short from vertical.
Yeah. Good control on that dive. I think, you know, she could just give it a little more jump, a little more full, like, intentional squeeze, not just the touch the position, but really highlight it, and then it would give it a little more drop at the end.
Here comes Louisa, forward 2.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Well, there's a great pike position.
Oh, yes. I love the control at the end of the dive as well. A little bit forward from the board, so the judges will not miss that for sure. But you were mentioning earlier the work being done under the water. There was a bit of that here.
Yeah, almost opening a little too late, and then she did everything she could to stop it from going too far over.
That extra adrenaline sometimes plays a few tricks on you.
Makes you jump a little higher, spin a little faster than you do in your normal at-home morning practices.
Well, that's the thing, right? Diving is a sport of repetition. So if you're used to a certain level of energy and then you got that little extra adrenaline in the final, you got to know what to do with it. Here's Daniela, back 1.5 pike. Nice.
That's
okay.
A very good back 1.5 for her.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier one of her difficulties is the entry in the water here. Really want to get those arms in the line with the body to go get that perfect line, but
yeah, very vertical. She doesn't have the most flexible shoulders, so it's a little bit harder on the back entry, but certainly a vertical jump, vertical entry, so that trajectory again. Nice to compete well in your home pool, home
absolutely.
crowd.
And some divers, in terms of flexibility, will have to do extra stretching for the rest of their lives. And this has gone on before time, and it will keep going on, I think, in the future. You just got to keep stretching. Back 1.5 pike here for Mackenzie.
Little cleaner on the entry.
It's good to be able to compare.
Back. Yeah.
And we get the luxury of a replay. The judges only see the dive once.
Yeah, although I will say the judges have a better seating spot. We're slightly up at an angle, so we have a bird's eye.
That's right.
But a bird's eye off to the side, just a touch.
All right, here's Aurelie now. Reversed 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. Oh, wow.
That's just one of those dynamic things. That's a 2.6 degree of difficulty twist, the hardest we're seeing in this event, and she made it look as easy as a 2.1.
Oh, yes. High up in the air, good control on this one.
She's also the only one who's going to be doing a reverse 2.5 in this event, so the only 3.0 degree of difficulty dive.
So 54.6 on the dive, but and having a difficult dive coming up could really stay in your head for the first few rounds also, right?
Absolutely. It's distracting. Depending on if you have a dive you're nervous about, you know, you almost want to get it over early, but then you don't want to do it early because you're still too nervous. This is the strategic element of diving. It's not your opponents, it's yourself.
Alexa Fung, back 1.5 pike. Good work at the end there. Salvage the entry in the water. Beautiful pike position.
Just nicely done. Maybe out just a hair late for the power of her takeoff.
And if you jump a little further back from the board, that will cause some extra rotation as well, right? Which is harder to control.
A little backwards momentum.
And same dive for Amélie Laura-Jasmin.
the advantage of seeing these dives back to back is it's easier to compare for the judges as well. They can see, and Amelie generally has a more vertical, straight up takeoff, which leads
Just
to
like
a
that.
very nice entry.
Nice. Very well done. Back 1.5 pike here.
Just in control all the way through.
Precision. So most of those dives for the women are not that difficult or demanding physically, but they require control. And this is definitely one of them. So 51.75 is the total on the dive for Amélie.
Even I like her control going in the water. You can see she's just barely sliding over. Now we have a leaderboard.
And after 3 rounds, Amélie Laura-Jasmin in first, Alexa Fung, Mackenzie May in third.
So there's a bit of a spread, 169,
but with 2
third
dives
place,
to go.
139. And then we have a bunch in the 30s. So all the way down to 7th place, 131 to 139 in third is Mackenzie.
That can change in 1 dive.
These are, yeah, that is very achievable. Even down to 9th, 126. So
oh, yes.
the standings will not stay the same. I promise you that. It may be that Amelie continues to stay up in the front there,
We'll
but
see.
the internal group will jostle.
4th round of dives. Forward 2.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Again, the
Very
2
well
dives that she was a little off in the morning, comes back.
Better
It's
in
her
the
best
final.
dive of the event so far. And her highest difficulty.
And I still don't feel like with her diving that she's quite comfortable on the board to take off, right? So the fact that she's able to accomplish 6.5s up to 7 here on the dive is good news, because she doesn't need the perfect hurdle. She doesn't have to wait for it.
Yeah, I think she is still quite quick. She's a bit lighter than some of the other divers, so doesn't have that same tempo of bringing the board down and back up.
Here's Kellyanne. Inward 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Wow. Beautiful line here.
Great position. Just watch, just throws a bit early in this takeoff. Cutting down her height a little bit. Very common move.
It's the relationship with the board.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient, but at the same time, when you're standing on there, you just want to
You feel like you need to
go
make
through
it.
the movements
Yeah.
as fast as possible.
And ironically, the harder the dive, the more patient you need to be.
Yep.
And yet, your brain often rushes you.
All right, important dive here. Reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Nice.
Just beautiful toes on that finish, too.
Very nice line. A little bit short from vertical. Good position on the board here. Toes all the way to the end.
Yeah, maybe just a bit rushing her come out. She could just show that confident stillness that we saw on Amelie's come out. She just like reaching for the water a little bit early, giving away that she's not 100% sure where she is.
And the judges will definitely see that. So 6s and 6.5s for Rosie. Here comes Louisa now. Same dive, reverse 1.5 somersault pike. It's a 2.4 degree of difficulty.
So the same dive we just saw. We'll watch her come out style.
I want to say a little bit of the same.
A little bit of the same, but not quite as strong a takeoff. It looked, she's going a little bit too archy before she pikes.
Even though it's a
Looks
1.5
like-
rotation, you got to create that speed of rotation
Yeah.
from the top there. Easier to
And then
control
try
at the
now.
end also if you've created that
If
momentum.
you finish, yeah, I like to tell my divers, you know, the higher you finish, the more time you have to just show the elegance and finish it
and
off.
evaluate.
Yeah. When you're just, the other strategy is just barely make it, and then you can only go in. But
I doubt
that's
you'd
not
be
as
coaching
pleasing
that.
to watch. Yeah.
All right, Danielle up next. Her 4th dive, reverse
reverse
1.5 somersault pike.
Beautiful finish on back 1.5.
Oh,
Trouble in that hurdle.
absolutely. Toes completely off the board here. You'll see it in the replay right here.
Oh, toes over the edge, a little bit out. A collective inhale from the crowd that saw that.
Yeah, we were part
She
of
saved
it.
it. Yeah.
limited the damage, to be honest, but
Yeah.
this
Which
will give her
which is
30.
another element of competing.
Yes.
You know, when things are a little bit off or a little bit awry, that you just maximize what you can so you don't get down into the disaster zone.
You can't give up on the dive, right? No matter what happens on the board or what position you're in. Here comes Mackenzie now. Same dive. Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful takeoff here.
And finish.
Absolutely.
We saw Daniela out a little bit. Mackenzie actually has been a little bit close on this dive in training, but that was the best one I've seen her do here the whole time.
That seems like the right distance.
May as well do it in the final, huh?
Yes, perfect timing.
Bringing up a couple eights.
7.5 up to
Well-deserved
8.
eights.
Absolutely.
Her coach happy. He's like, yep, everything I told her just right.
And this is not about the degree of difficulty on most of the dives, but the reverse 1.5 pike is like it's stressful. Every reverse direction is stressful.
For some it's reverse, for some it's inward.
Oh, that's it. So there was
the thing's
here.
moving towards the board, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, another
good dive.
great dive. Amelie, beautiful little pike position. Just
Yep.
folded right in tight.
Good entry in the water.
Darting in. Now she's got her
Zoned in.
stressful dive left.
Leaves it for the end. That's a show of character as well. Keeps the hardest dive for the end of the competition. 50.4 is the total on the dive with one more to go. Alexa Fung from the Toronto Diving Academy. Back 1.5 somersault with 1.5 twist.
So Orly had done the reverse 1.5 twist. This is 0.1 degree of difficulty lower. Physically harder, maybe mentally a little bit easier. You don't have to go back towards the board.
Nicely done.
Nicely done. Doesn't finish as high as you could if you did the reverse twist.
I was going to say a little bit lacking of height here just to fully lock her elbows in and get that clean entry in the water. Jumped a little far back as well. That's exactly what she was telling her coach.
She knows.
Oh,
Divers
they know.
usually know. You feel things.
You feel
Although
everything.
Every once in a while, you feel something, but then it wasn't true. You ever felt like you almost landed over on your back, and then you come out, and it's like, oh, it was great, actually.
Too many times. All right. Here's Emily. Reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Big dive here. Nice. Very well done.
That's experience there. That was not the same smooth, straight up hurdle. She kind of cut it off. You can see the board
Rushed
bouncing
off
there.
a little bit from the board.
But look at that.
She has to come out that early from that rotation.
Because I had a little whip. So
It's-
that's the experience there.
And in that split second up in the air there, she realized, okay, I got to make this move here in order to land vertically.
She may have had that type of takeoff before.
I feel like she's done this before. You're absolutely right, Igor. All right, Emily still in control here with almost 20 points ahead. Alexa Fung in second, Mackenzie May in third. But look
Ella
at this.
is 1 point
Oh,
behind.
yes. With one
1
more
point
dive
off
to
the
go.
medals. And Orly, she's in sixth with 178, but she has 3.0 degree of difficulty. So a great reverse 2.5 can really move her up. There are 4 divers really in contention for the medals. It's up to them.
Oh, yes.
They do their job on this last dive. Ella saving a nice inward 1.5 pike. This is almost
This should not be a really hard dive for Ella.
as close to a guarantee as it comes in diving.
Ooh, you
Inward
went
1.5
with the guarantee word.
Yeah.
I always tell the media people
where
that there's no guarantees in
Yeah.
diving or in sports.
No.
As a matter of fact, here it is, inward 1.5 pike.
Oh, I was very wrong. Jumped that a little bit back.
A little bit, and that kept her short from vertical. So
Yeah,
the
that
movement
didn't line it up.
backwards
Yeah.
just kind of cut off the height. So left a little bit on the table here for Ella Lindsay. And guess what? She knows too. 6.5s up to 7.5 for a total of 46.8 on her last dive.
Yeah, 235 was her total. Would have put her in the top 3 after the preliminaries. I don't know if that's going to be enough for a medal in the final. She might lose her.
Here's
her top
Kellyanne
three standing as they
Tessier, forward 1.5 with 1 twist. Ooh, good control.
saved it.
Yep.
Also looked like a little tilting forward in that hurdle.
You see it again in the replay right here. A little bit on the corner, jumped far out a tiny bit. Good
Tends to
control.
go a little early, like she's just moving into the dives a little before it's time, cutting off her height.
And I almost feel like that's something you have to learn in competition. Because she might be able to do it in training, but then
That you just get a
with the
little ahead of
extra-
yourself. Just get a little ahead.
Same dive for Rosalind. Yeah.
Oh,
Just missing there at the end. Those muscles in the abdominals, gotta keep those tight right here.
yeah, just getting straight a little early. Looks to aim just a little under. Had that.
Yeah, lining up with the head in a little bit. Body keeps rotating. All
Solid
right.
event for Rosaline.
Pretty
Probably
steady. I mean, no major
Could have
mistakes.
had a little more. It's always that little frustration in the sport, no? Like you left a little bit on the table. You, oh, if I had only.
You only realize once the dive is over. Here comes Louisa. Back 1.5 with 1.5 twist. 2.5 degree of difficulty.
Yeah, another one. You need to be very good in balance and have a nice fast swing into your lift. Oh,
All
she
right.
finishes that quite well.
Absolutely. Jumped a little far off from the board. She created enough rotation to accomplish and fully complete the dive right here. There's no time to hesitate.
No, and this is, especially on 1 meter,
Total
a
of
little
40
closer,
points.
and she'd go in 2:14, just finishes below Rosaline.
All smiles. Still happy. All right. Daniela, her last dive will be a forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Again, the fronts and inwards, her strength, highest degree of difficulty at the end.
Wow.
Great dive for Daniela, finishing that with ease.
Oh, yes. There's no trouble completing this dive here. Coming out through a pike motion as well right here. Lines up beautifully.
I like this, watching her. I watched her in training as well, and she was often a little bit early like we talked about. Actually, the reverse of what we just said, how you have to learn it in competition. She is doing it in competition, timing her throw just right. High, finish. Look at that satisfying smile at the end.
Yep. Well, she can be happy with that dive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Mackenzie May now with a reverse 1.5 half twist. 2.2 degree of difficulty.
The only one of the event. Same difficulty as the front. So 1.5, 1 twist.
Nice.
Very nice dive.
For a dive like that one, you got to break down every movement. It has to be clear for the judges. Right there, give the direction, do the half twist, line up properly. I would have liked to see her body a little tighter going into the water.
A lot of potential there. Just not quite that sharp perfectness on the entry, where she just looked like almost a little twisted.
And the judges don't miss that.
Yeah.
Because if you have to be perfectly aligned with them, otherwise they'll be taking some points off. Okay. Aurélie Sévigny, reverse 2.5 somersault.
This is the big dive of the event.
Absolutely. I
I've
saw
seen
her do
this great in practice.
Oh, yes. Same here. She can do it well in competition,
so
too.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so put-inable. Look at this height. Great kick. Just a little over.
A little overstretched at the end right here just to go past that vertical.
But
I know what you and I are thinking. We're thinking 3 meters. We're thinking adding a flip to this dive, which will definitely be a possibility in the future for Aurélie.
But she's finishing high enough that she has time to kick, look, grab her hands.
Execute the technique without rushing.
Yeah.
All right, Alexa Fung, reverse 1.5 somersault in the pike position.
To hang on to a medal position.
Nice.
Should be good
Well
enough.
done. Oh, yes. To stay in medal contention, that's for sure. A little far off from the board.
Just looked a,
I'm just being
looked a
picky
little
here,
early.
Igor.
Absolutely. Well, we all have to be picky if
Yeah.
we're going to separate the field.
Absolutely. Oh, obviously those are not the scores.
Wow, they really cut that.
And I'm pretty sure with that final dive, Alexa will be retaining
Still
him.
in medal position,
Medal
ahead
contention.
of Lindsay,
Okay.
of Ella Lindsay.
And last
Final
dive.
diver.
Yep. Forward 1.5 with 1 twist. Nice.
Solid dive, although that probably her worst dive of the event.
That's right.
A good
little
dive, that's
too
the
much
worst of
speed.
the event.
But that's what it's all about, right? Is to minimize the amount of mistakes you can do. So if this was her worst dive for Amelie, and she knows, you can see it in her body language right now, I think she can be happy with the overall list of dives. 5 consistent ones, which will keep her into first place.
So she'll hang on to first. We have 3rd and 4th traded places.
Ah, you see, on the last dive.
Yeah, Ella Lindsay just squeaks ahead of Mackenzie. Unfortunately, misses out on her first senior national medal. But great job for Ella. Much stronger final than the preliminary. And then no surprises, the same order with 1st and 2nd from the preliminary.
Absolutely, and this is a great warm-up. Great way to break the ice at these national championships here. Get ready for 3 meters. And for Ella Lindsay, well, she's got 10 meters. I think she's doing all the events over the weekend. So
Call her well-rounded.
Exactly. Igor, it's been great. I'm sure we'll be calling some more events over the weekend together.
I look forward to it.
I'm gonna find you on the pool deck to put you to work.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back in just a few moments with the men's 3-meter final coming up.
Thank you. The medalists for the women's 1 meter, please make their way to the marshalling area. Do we have Ella Lindsay? Please report to the marshalling area, please. Ella, please, to the marshalling area. Thanks to our production team, we have a highlight video of our top team members, how they got to this position to be ready for the podium. Diving fans, please welcome our medalists for the women's 1 meter event.
Voici la cérémonie pour la compétition féminine d'1 mètre.
The medals will be presented by
Les médailles seront présentées par
CEO Diving Plongeon Canada, Penny Joyce. The winner of the bronze medal
en 3e position avec la médaille de bronze.
from Nepean, Ottawa, Ella Lindsay. Your winner of the silver medal,
En 2e position avec la médaille d'argent.
representing Toronto Dive Academy, Alexa Fung. Your winner of the gold medal and your women's 1 meter national champion,
En première place, gagnante de la médaille d'or et championne des championnats nationaux d'hiver.
representing Camo, Amelie Laura Yasmin. Calgary, these are your 2026 Winter National Championship medalists.
Calgary, voici vos médaillés pour les championnats nationaux d'hiver 2026.
Our next event is the men's championship final in the 3-meter. We'll be presenting our athletes at 3:30, just about 25 minutes from now. End of practice, and then the presentation of our finalists in the men's 3-meter event.
This is the party of all parties. I'm here to party. Did you come to party, y'all? I can't hear you. I'm ready to party. Party, yeah, yeah. 1999. Ready to party. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray.
But when I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day.
What do you say? What do you say?
The sky was all purple, there were people running everywhere. Trying to run from my destruction, you know I didn't even care.
I didn't even care.
Say 2000 party over, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
I was dreaming when I wrote this, so sue me if I go too fast. Sue me if I go too fast.
Life is just a party and parties weren't meant to last.
War is all around us, my mind says prepare to fight. So if I gotta die, I'm gonna listen to my body tonight. They say 2000 party over, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
For real. This is a real party here, baby. This is official, you know what I'm saying? And this how we get down. Yo, purple rain sustain as Prince entertain. Only love from the God above, change the name. No ego in the game, no need to place blame. And other than the freedom, the music stays the same. He never took a title, daddy don't claim. Haters be hating because it's way beyond fame. Love for one another, it's only one aim. As the sky's on the color of red, I seen flames. Then 1999 came. Put up your hands and show no shame. This is the party of the century. And the artists in the house with the NPG. Hands in the air, so many I can't see. Put up your hands if you know you're free and say, party, party.
Come to party, don't bother knocking on my door.
Night y'all, all night y'all. Come on, got to get down. I got a lion in my pocket, and baby, it's ready to roll. Yeah, party, party. Come on, party. All right, y'all, all night, y'all. Got to get down. All right, y'all. Come on, got to get down. Tell me who's in here. Tell me who's in here. Say what? 0-0 party over, out of time. Who wanna get on down with your man Doug E? Tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Who wanna get on down with your man Larry? Come on. 0-0 party over, out of time. Who wanna get on down with your girl Rosie? Tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Represent Northeast, represent East Coast, represent.
Alex, you guys ready? We're going to be shortly here to you. 30 seconds to you guys. Not sure, you're tapping your ears, I think. Yeah, you're just muted. John's got you muted. You, Alex.
All right, we are getting set for the men's 3-meter final here at the Winter National Championships in Calgary. Alex Despatie still here, and in fine company with Rylan Weens, Olympic bronze medalist. I'm so happy to see you because you're also pretty good at this job. I'm gonna have to watch out for myself so you don't take over.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. This is one of the funnest things for me to do at these nationals. And
well, it's great for me to have you here because obviously you travel with most of this team, most of the divers, and we're about to showcase the men's 3-meter finals. And let's just be honest, okay? It was a rough preliminary round for most of the men in this event.
yeah, I saw some of the divers just not diving to their potential in the morning. Obviously some nerves. It's a pretty big event for them. Lots on the line. So
well, that's the thing, right? So for some of those divers, this event, these national championships are the sort of gateway to the rest of the season, right?
yeah, this is the Winter Nationals essentially set you up for all the competitions you'll be attending for until the next Summer Nationals, and that's the majority of the season this year.
And as we're seeing the 8 divers that will be taking part in this men's 3-meter final, I want to ask you, after a tough preliminary, and I've been there before, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it, but what happens in between? How do you switch things around? How do you make sure that you're going to level up for the finals and for what matters, and really what is going to count for the rest of the season here?
Yeah, I used to actually just barely sneak into finals all the time. I was a finals diver, not a prelims diver. So I got really good at flipping that switch. And my coach used to also always tell me, like, just one dive at a time, the warm-up doesn't matter. And the prelim, if you make it through, is just a warm-up for the final. So take a nap, get some food in you, try to mentally reset, and just forget about the prelim because it's a whole new day in the finals.
I always had trouble with that because I've been told as well, well, it's the prelims. Just do enough just to get through. But
Athletes,
I think
coaches,
as athletes,
team managers, there are 2
as divers,
remaining in
in
the
this
warm-up.
case, obviously, you always want to do your best. I want it to be as good as possible, even in the morning, and be even better at night, right? So I can imagine it's hard for the boys to just really take it calmly and know that you will do better in the finals.
I think that's where the competition experience really comes into play.
Right.
Some of these guys are a lot more experienced than others, different levels, like some have been to the Olympics, some on tower.
On different events, that's right, which you would know all about.
Yeah.
We got a Nathan Zombo-Murray here who's transitioning into springboard, and you know what? I was taking a peek at his event this morning. I watched most of his diving. They are 2 different events, so we have to give him a little bit of a break. He's got to learn who he is on the springboard and not on the platform, right? Because that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I was talking to him after the event, and he was happy to make it through the final. Obviously, he knew that he left a lot on the table.
Get another chance, of course, absolutely.
But yeah, he said it's completely different, like something I have never done. I've never done 3-meter at this high of a level, and man, I can't even imagine having to deal with a springboard and shooting you out the wrong way.
Well, here's the thing with the springboard, and I think that's important for the people watching as well. You can't compare the 3-meter springboard or the 10-meter platform. They are 2 separate events completely. So even if Nathan Zombo-Murray is an Olympic bronze medalist in synchro with you, he has to learn how to compete and create that relationship with that springboard. And so I think that this morning he got a first taste of that.
Absolutely.
But I think any of the guys in this event, from the first one to the 8th one that will be competing, I think we can expect some good diving and some surprises as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I saw the boys in practice just in the last half an hour, and they're looking sharp. They're looking like they did the appropriate things to reset for the finals, so I'm excited.
When you see a lot of energy, a lot of adrenaline running through these guys' veins, obviously in the warm-up, what does that tell you looking ahead at the event that's about to start? Because diving is a sport of control. I mentioned it in the previous event that we covered just earlier. Having too much energy is not necessarily the best thing, right?
Yeah, you need to, I mean, energy is great if you're not making your dives in the practices, but you need to know how to control that energy and to bring the energy out at the right time. So halfway through your hurdle going towards the end of the board might not be the time to bring all the energy out, but when you're on 2 feet on the end, you give it 110.
All right, so 6 dives coming up from the 8 divers that will be in action in this men's 3-meter final here at the Senior National Championships. Not a pool that we're used to. It's the first time I've come to a competition here.
First time for, I think, almost all of these athletes, actually.
Right.
It's a beautiful facility.
Great facility, yes.
Yeah, great. I mean, I walked in here, and it looks like a world-class facility. They have a nice dryland area for us to warm up in as well, so I think everyone was pretty excited to be here.
It's a combination of things that are necessary for all these divers to be ready for their events. As we're trickling down and close to the athlete's presentation. And I believe that's coming up right now. So we'll take a moment for that, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes with the start of the men's 3-meter finals here at the Canadian National Championships.
Please welcome athlete number 1, representing Point Claire Nightclub, Dean Calgary. Diver number 2,
Alex.
All right, we are getting set for the men's 3-meter final here at the 2026 Winter National Championships. 7 judges, so the highest 2 scores and the lowest 2 will be taken out, and then we multiply by the degree of difficulty, and that is how you get the total on the dive. And as we mentioned before, I'm sure the boys are hungry for some good competition here this afternoon.
The boys are ready. You can just tell they're walking out smiling. You can see the energy from up here.
We were seeing just before Sam McCaffrey, he's in the position of the leader from the prelims. This is, I would think, one of the first times that he's been in that position, so get to test some new nerves, which will be interesting here in this final. All right, Dean Kalfakakos. Forward 2.5 with 1 twist. Good start to the event here.
And he started out the prelim strong as well, coming out with a nice forward 2.5 with 1 twist. Nice entry in the bottom of that.
Beautiful entry. The judges love to see the clean, no splash entry. And you know what? Like I was calling the previous event with Igor Kopetsky, and the judges have to get into the mood as well, right? So when it starts strong like this, 7, 7.5, up to 8 for a total of 64.5 for Dean to kick things off.
Yeah, it's good to warm the judges up from the start and just get them hyped up with the event with like the rest of the people watching.
Arnaud Corbeil from the Camo Diving Club. His first dive, inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
And this is one of those things, there's a lot of differing degree of difficulties in these dives.
And this for Arnaud obviously is not a demanding dive to accomplish this inward 2.5 somersault tuck, right?
Yeah, he definitely opted for that one, probably a little bit more consistent than the inward 2.5 pike or the inward 3.5.
I'm sure he's working on adding a flip to this dive anytime soon.
Absolutely, he looks like he's got the power for it for sure.
But like you said, you want to kick off the competition here. It's an important event. Be comfortable with the dives you pick and choose. 58.05 on this one for Arnaud.
Sometimes it's just about that consistency of doing 7.5, 8s on every single dive in your list and then eventually adding a new one in.
I feel like in the men's diving, it's become a lot of a mathematical race, right? You want the big degree of difficulties. We've got Nathan Zombo-Murray just kicking off his springboard career here. Forward 3.5 somersault pike. I'm going to go ahead and say I feel like he held back on this one right here. You want to create that momentum. You got to get that speed going, even though it's an easy dive for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's just part of it. Yeah, he's learning how to compete. I saw him in practice ripping them every single time.
It's a very the springboard event is one that you have to really learn how to assimilate, you know. It's gonna play tricks on you at times, but one thing for sure is you can't hold back. You got to go 100%. Cedric Fofana here, forward 2.5, 2 twists, pike position. Nice! Wow. Beautiful start for Cedric. And Cedric is one of those divers, right? If he lines up 6 dives just like this one, well, he's hardly beatable.
He has that high jump off the springboard that the judges love to see, and also he can disappear right through the water like nothing.
And the confidence, right? So if we compare with Nathan just the dive before, it shows that he just went all out on this one. And that is a really good start with 83.3 for Cedric here.
Yeah, you can definitely see that experience. He was in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo with me and Nathan. We all went together for our first time, and he's been pursuing 3 meters since then.
Still going. All right, Tasman Abramovich. His first dive will be a forward 3.5 somersault pike.
And he recently switched to the Saskatoon Diving Club. He's now diving with Coach Mary alongside me, actually.
That's right.
And he's going to try to improve that consistency in his list.
Beautiful. Good start for Tasman. And you mentioned consistency. That obviously is the key in the sport of diving. But Tasman he's got all the tools, and if he can, again, put 6 dives in a row at a decent level, just like that, he'll be in the mix for sure. So 7s, 7.5s up to 8 for a total of 69.75 to kick it off.
I know he and Coach Amiri will both be very happy with that one, starting off strong for Tasman.
And starting with a hurdle, too. So on those springboard events, that's like extra stress, extra nerves to kick it off with an approach.
I can hardly even do an approach on a hurdle to start with.
I was hoping to set you up for that response as well. All right. Thomas Chiprick now also doing a forward 3.5 somersault pike. Thomas also just making his way outside of Canada in the NCAA circuit in Tennessee. Super strong diver. Has all of the elements possible to be in the conversation here. It's a good start for him as well.
Interesting thing about Thomas, his coach now, Jane Figueiredo, coach of Tom
She has
Daly.
quite the track record, we should say.
She's got a couple Olympic medals behind her.
Gold ones, too. Yep. So Jane is here looking over Thomas. So that is a good start for him at 69.75 to start this final. Here comes Emmett Reeser from the Toronto Diving Academy. Forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist. It's a 3.0 degree of difficulty.
Watch for the legs and toes on his dive. It is beautiful.
You're absolutely right, and that is something I love to pay attention to. The elegance right here. Legs are straight right from the moment he kicks off from the board in the pike position, and they stay like that through the whole dive. Maybe a bit of a cleaner entry, but
yeah, a little tiny bit shorter vertical, bring up a little of that splash, but the judges, the last thing they see is those toes go through the water, so that's a pretty sweet way to start for Emmett.
7s and 7.5s to begin for Emmett. The leader from this morning's preliminary round, Samuel McCaffrey from the Point Clear Diving Club. He kicks things off with a back 2.5 somersault pike.
And Sam isn't doing the hardest dives in the entire event, but what he was this morning was very consistent.
Oh, that's a rough start for Sam, though. With the back 2.5, you really want to create that rotation right here. The timing with the board wasn't quite what it should be, and also coming out of that pike position just too early for the speed of rotation.
And I think that pressure you're talking about going last. He's one of the less experienced divers in the event, one of the up-and-coming juniors who's really been making a statement, and it's all a learning curve.
How old is he, right? He's
I think he's around 18.
So
third year A, I think, second year A.
So last few moments in the junior circuit, now making his way here with the seniors. So Cedric Fofana in first, Tasman in second, tied with Thomas Chiprick, but lots of diving to go.
There is
5 rounds means all of this is probably going to be moving around. Yeah, tough start here for Sam McCaffrey, but
oh, one dive though. You can come back for one dive for sure.
well, I mean, the best thing he can do is actually come back with a strong dive and just shake it off, forget about this initial round, and do the dives the way he did them this morning. Here comes Dean Kalfakakos, forward 3.5 somersault pike. Oh! So that's a tough go for Dean. And I've been watching him in training in Montreal. Every once in a while I get to that pool. I find that the timing on the board for him with the rotation of his arms and the pushing of the board doesn't happen quite at the right time. And here, obviously, not creating enough momentum.
But yeah, definitely another one of those juniors who's learning. There's a lot of youngins in the field, and it's awesome to see that they're pushing the older guys to, you know, execute those dives that they're doing at a higher caliber. And unfortunately, that one just didn't quite go Dean's way.
But that's one of those moments where you, okay, bad dive. Just, I'm sure he's waiting for the scores, but don't even have to really do that, right? You just move on to the next and focus on the few technical aspects of the next dive that will be coming your way.
And that is one of the hardest things, is doing a bad dive and coming back from it. It's easy to dwell on the dive that you just did, but it's really important to forget it ever happened,
right,
and just focus on the things you can do to get yourself back in the competition.
So definitely one to forget here for Dean Kalfakakos. Coming up, Arnaud Corbeil from the Camo Diving Club. He'll be doing a forward 3.5 somersault as well, this time in the tuck position. Oh, wow. Woo. Beautiful direction. You know, distance in diving from the board, I know it can seem a little bit scary for people watching at home sometimes, but this was a beautiful jump way up in the air, full control on the dive here.
And what my coach always says is what goes straight up goes straight down, and you can see that from the way he entered the water.
But that's the way it makes it easier to control. If
Yep.
you go straight up in the air at the right direction and the right distance from the board, it's easier at the end, and that's exactly what Arnaud just did. Okay, so monster dive coming up here for Nathan Zomber-Murray.
Yeah, this morning he struggled a little bit on this dive, leaving it a little bit short, but I'd like to see what Iwa worked on in between to get this.
Iwa, the coach, of course, and the back 3.5 somersault tuck. That's a 3.6 degree of difficulty, but it should be like a 12.7 or something like that.
And he can make it look pretty easy sometimes.
Yes, he can. That was a very good one. Beautiful jump in the air, and I know that knowing where he is in space is not a problem for Nathan, right? Knows exactly where he is. Maybe lacking a little confidence coming out from that rotation.
Just arms going back a little bit more to help him get cleaner through the water, but an improvement from this morning.
Absolutely.
Get him on the right track.
5.5s up to 6, 6.5, and to 7. That's an improvement from the morning. And again, he's on a learning curve here, so everything is another step towards him becoming a better competitor on springboard. Here's Cedric now.
And even with that learning curve with Nathan, he's still doing one of the hardest lists.
Yes.
in this entire
That shows
field.
character. He's here for business. Oh, wow! Okay, so this has been one of Cedric's problem dives, right? Because he goes up so high in the air, speeds so fast, and has had trouble controlling that entrance in the water in the past. But this was done beautifully here.
And you can see in the slow-mo replay, his arms go away from his body, and that helps him to control the rotation to make sure he doesn't flop over in his belly.
Solid 72 points, far from his belly. Good job here for Cedric.
He's a finals diver.
Oh, yes, definitely. Okay, up next, Tasman. Forward 2.5 with 2 twists in the pike position. Oh, yes. Another diver who's here for business.
And he took that one straight up, straight down, just like Arnaud did on the 107.
That's right, 3.4 degree of difficulty here, so gearing up. Coach Mary is happy with this one, 73.1. And I've said this in the past, I would like to see him get into that pike position a little more at the start, but so far, works out well.
You know, it's funny you say that, Alex, because that's one of the things that he and Mary are actually working on in practice.
Is that so?
You must really know what you're talking about.
Maybe. You could tell me. All right, Thomas, up next. Another dive that will need control here. Back 2.5 pike. Direction is key here. All right, nicely done. Jumped a little far back from the board, so the judges will definitely not miss that. But that could have created the momentum in the rotation as well, right?
Yeah, sometimes when the divers fall a little bit back, a little bit further away from the board, it's harder to control their toes flipping over right at the end, like you see creating that splash.
Still limiting the damage, 58.5 on this one.
He's got his bigger dives yet to come, so it's a solid start for Thomas.
All right, moving along. Here's Emmett with a forward 3.5 somersault pike. And Emmett's a tall diver, so you got to really use the time on the board, but also get in that pike position.
It is hard to be
Quite
a
as
tall
fast.
diver, but
Yes.
when you do it right, it is beautiful.
You would know something about that. That is unfortunately a bit of a miss here for Emmett. Takeoff looked decent, just came out of that rotation way too early and grabbed his hands too quick. You gotta let your body rotate all the way through.
It looked like he was just a little bit uncertain as to where he was going through the air.
So that's a miss for Emmett here, 37.2 on the second round dive. All right, let's see if Sam McCaffrey can shake things off after round one. He'll be doing a forward 3.5 somersault pike as well. 3.1 degree of difficulty. Oh, yes!
Wow.
That's how you bounce back, right? Shake it off. Beautiful takeoff, beautiful pike position. Knows exactly where to come out, confident in the end. I like that dive a lot.
And that does show his composure, you know, not doing the optimal first dive, but coming right back and getting himself back into the mix.
Absolutely. 7.5 up to 8.5 on this one, 74.4. I'm sure that'll feel good for the confidence heading into round number 3. Here are the results after 2. Cedric Fofana taking a relatively comfortable lead. Tasman Abramovich in second place. Third is Thomas Chiprick. And then Nathan Zomber-Murray not too far behind in fourth place. But as you can see, fourth, fifth, third, everything is up for grabs here.
And we are only a third of the way through the competition, so there's a lot of shuffling that can still happen in this event.
And we're going to start seeing some higher degree of difficulties, more risk, more chances being taken. That was Mary, your coach, by the way. She says hello.
Yeah, she was mad when I didn't get to watch this one with her.
Yeah, because you got to work with me. All right. Dean up next for round number 3 with a back 2.5 somersault pike. Also looking to bounce back here. All right, that's not a bad dive. Again, I feel like the timing of the arms rotating and the pushing of the board is not quite exact, if I can say it that way.
I'd like to see the arms come through a little bit sooner, maybe the legs bent a little bit longer.
Right.
Definitely something that him and his coach will be working on, but
Absolutely.
that's part of the process of diving.
49.5 is the total on the dive. And that, the 3-meter springboard event and the 1-meter actually is, you got to create that strength in the legs, men, women, the same. You got to be able to really push that board down.
This is a big one for Arnaud, reverse
Oh, yes.
3.5.
Oh, good work there. Really salvaging the damage here a little bit. Came out of that rotation just a little too soon, right here. And those abdominal muscles have to be tight for the legs to follow.
You can see he was a little bit back on the board, but he definitely managed pretty well with the takeoff that he had.
Spatial awareness, really good here. Came out a bit early, but could have been a lot worse. So 47.25 on this one for Arnaud.
Oh, Nathan's on a reverse
All
3.5, exact same dive. The judges get to watch them back to back, a little comparison.
Here we go. Oh, he pulled it a little bit on this one. But clearly, and again, for Nathan, it's going to be all about controlling that strength. See, pulling back here, stretching that right here. Didn't need to arch. Everything was there, and he'll learn how to really feel every moment of the dives, because it's not because it's too difficult. He's got the strength, he jumps high enough, he's got the speed of rotation. So
And
all of these things are
one thing
coming
you
his
have
way.
to wonder is he went short in the preliminary. I wonder if he was maybe overcompensating just a little bit.
You're absolutely right. For sure he didn't forget what happened in the morning, right?
But I guarantee that the next one he does will be vertical.
Okay. All right, Cedric up next. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck. Okay, good dive. Kept it a little short from vertical. I felt like he went a little bit quickly in the takeoff there.
I'd like to see him go a little bit higher, get a little bit smaller in that tuck position, but he's
Another tall diver, right? So,
very tall.
so to get from that tall to really a tight tuck position can be a bit demanding. 57.8. Leaving a little bit on the table here. Monster dive here for Tasman Abramovich.
One of the biggest dives done in the world.
3.9 degree of difficulty for 2.5 with 3 twists.
Let's see if he gets a little bit more pike before he starts his twist like you mentioned on the earlier dive.
I'm happy you said it and not me. That way I don't get in trouble. Okay,
Oh,
good
whoa.
save. As you could see there, we'll see in the replay, it's a bit in trouble on the board right here. Stuck to the side a little bit. Again, I'm repeating myself, but if he grabbed that pike position just a little fraction of a second longer up top, it would make his life a lot easier.
And that composure that he showed in the hurdle is one thing that they have been working on day in and day out, just going on every hurdle and making the best of it.
Well, you know, I mentioned this with Igor earlier today in the women's 1 meter final. Any springboard diver cannot expect the perfect hurdle, the perfect approach. It's not going to come, right? So you just got to work with what you have, and hopefully if you get the perfect hurdle, you know what to do with it.
Absolutely.
All right, Thomas now. Forward 2.5 with 1 twist. Very easy dive for Thomas to accomplish. So all about control here. Jumps a little far out from the board, which I'm sure the judges will not miss. Finds the vertical, bit of a splash here.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked to see a little bit cleaner, a little bit closer to the board. But Thomas showed that he was in full control throughout that whole dive, so he'll be happy with that one.
58.5. Again, no big miss here from Thomas. Coming up as Emmett Reesarp with a back 2.5 somersault pike.
Let's see if Emmett can come back from the slight miss in the previous round.
And no matter what the end result is, really, it's important psychologically to bounce back.
Yeah,
No matter what happens at the end of the day, right? You got to
Just-
know that you can do it.
If you start having one problem and then it leads to a snowball effect for the rest of your list, that's something you never want to see.
Here we go.
Very
Right.
nice. There we go.
Beautiful dive. So bouncing back. I'm going to be picky here. Jumps a little far from the board, but again, that elegance of the straight legs, the pointed feet that will follow him all the way through the end of the dive. Few degrees short of vertical, but good dive. 6.5 up to 7.5 here for Emmett. That alone will make him feel more comfortable for the rest of it,
Just
right?
to settle back in a little bit after a slight miss.
Forward 2.5 with 1 twist, pike position here for Sam McCaffrey. Nice. Oh, just kept that head in a little bit at the end there.
Little
Kept the
bit
body
buried.
rolling. And again, that's an easy dive for him to complete, right?
We'd like to see a little bit sharper, yeah, coming around, finishing with the shoulders a little bit hunched. And that just causes a little bit of splash to go almost going a little bit long of vertical.
It's not a major mistake here, but Definitely leaving a couple of points here on the table. 55.5 is the total on this one. After 3 rounds of dives, Cedric Fofana still in charge, but not too far behind is Tasman with that big degree of difficulty just creeping up onto first place. Thomas Tipprich, 186.75, so there's a bit of work to do there to solidify because Nathan knocking on the door here.
Yeah.
Definitely a better first 3 rounds than the way that they started earlier today.
If it keeps going the way it's going right now, we're going to see much higher scores than in the preliminary. So hopefully the boys can keep up that high level of diving they've been producing so far.
And the scores are important, right? The qualification for those events you were talking about, the World Cups and the Canada Cups that are going to come in the Canada Cup Series, if I could call it that way, the Grand Prix Series. You know, they matter on a score. So every dive matters.
I believe it's like around 400 for the Canada Cup Grand Prix circuit and 430 for the World Cup circuit.
Oh, beautiful reverse 2.5 pike here for Dean.
I think that might be one of the best ones I've seen him do all week.
Absolutely. Toes a little bit off the board, no panicking, executing the technique beautifully. Tight pike position. I'd like to see the feet a little more pointed, but that's just me. I think Dean can be happy with this one, 64.5 on his 4th round dive. Good job. All right. Here comes Arno now with a forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike position. Nice. I love the direction on every dive he does.
He's amazing at taking it straight up.
Oh, good distance from the board. Every movement broken down properly. Pike position here, twisting, lining up. Feet go a little bit past, but
add a twist to that. Potentially 3 twists.
I just got dizzy from you saying 3 twists. Because that's a lot of dive, but yes. Okay, Nathan Zambor-Murray is coming up with an inward 3.5 somersault tuck. 3.4 is the degree of difficulty.
This was one of his best dives on 10 meter. Let's see how he can translate to 3 meter today.
Are you applying pressure on your friend here?
Always.
Oh! Everything was there. Enough space, enough strength, speed. Just an overreaction there. And that could be the adrenaline. You know, you sort of second guess yourself on the speed, on the height.
And I know he's not diving amazing right now, but I see he's got massive potential doing all the big dives.
Oh, yes.
It's going to take him a couple of goes around in the competition to really figure it out, but yeah,
I mean, and that's fine. That's totally okay, right? So 45.9 on this one. You could see the disappointment in his body language, but like you say, the potential is evident. All right. Oh, what a dive from Cedric Fofana. Reverse 3.5 somersault.
He's coming to play.
Oh, yes. 3.5 degree of difficulty. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to be real picky here. Everything was great. A little bit of a splash at the end, but found the vertical. And that will do some real wonders on his confidence levels, right?
That dive is always one that's a bit of an iffy dive for Cedric, but he is showing that he's been working on that, and it went down today.
What I'm loving right now from Cedric is the consistency that he's applying so far with 4 dives that he's done, because that has been a challenge. So if he can carry on like that, I think he'll be very happy at the end of the day. And same dive now for Tasman.
See how Tasman can respond to the pressure of Cedric.
Oh, okay. Wow. So for Tasman, I thought he just left the board a little quick right here. You got to let that board do its work so you get those few extra inches to complete the dive at the end.
With that being said, it wasn't a large miss. It was just a little bit short of vertical, but you know, it's in the right direction.
Yep. And for Tasman, the same potential. You know, there's so much good diving in him that I feel will be coming up. And, okay, the Olympic talk is a little early. It's 2.5 years away, but I think there's a lot of potential there.
A lot of potential in all of these athletes in this
Yep.
event for those Olympic Games. Oh, another reverse 3.5 for us to watch, Alex.
Here comes Thomas, 3.5 degree of difficulty.
When done well, I think this is one of my favorite dives to watch.
Oh, wow! Some work on the board there. He was in trouble right here, leaning back a little bit. We could hear the banging on the board, but stayed very patient. 1, 2, 3, the water goes by, and he knew exactly where to come out.
And even though he had that trouble on the board, he's so strong, he can press even from a foot or two back on the board to make that reverse 3.5 look easy.
he's even nodding, going, I don't know what just happened, but
I bet his heart is racing a little.
yep. You just did this, Thomas. Great dive here. Great recovery. Okay, here's Emmett now. He'll be doing a reverse 2.5 somersault pike.
Ooh, wow.
Nice. Beautiful.
I love watching that dive.
Absolutely. Because look at this. And I appreciate the straight legs right off from the board in that pike position. And that dive is all about control for him.
Absolutely. And to think that he had a miss in the second round and to see how consistent he's diving, has been amazing to see that come back.
Showing the character here, 67.5 on this one for Emmett. Not giving up right until the event is over.
Never over till it's over, Alex.
That's what they say. All right, Sam McCaffrey now. Big one coming up. Forward 2.5 somersault with 2 twists in the pike position. 3.4 is the difficulty. Oh, wow. What a dive. Beautiful. And what I really appreciate is right here, using the board to its fullest. Gets in that pike position. Feet go by a little bit at the end, but I'll forgive him for that.
And these younger guys are sure putting pressure on our older guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is also, I mean, it was a rough start to the event for Sam. He's coming back and lining up these dives from 6 to 7.5 on this one. So slowly making his way back into the rankings. Cedric in control, almost 30 points ahead. Tasman in second. Thomas Shiprick in third. Just, I mean, little, tiny.
1 point.
Not even a point behind. So it's going to be a nice fight for second place there in the next 2 rounds. Emmett in fourth. And like I said, Sam McCaffrey slowly crawling up the rankings. I love the competitiveness. And to see those divers not giving up, not because you had a mishap in the first or second round, you just got to really grind your way all the way through the event.
And never count Nathan out. He's got that big 109 coming up, his signature dive.
Absolutely. I was leaving it to you to bring up your buddy, but he's my buddy too. So, all right, here's Dean Kalifakos with an inward 2.5 somersault pike. All right. Once again, the timing on the board, he'd be able to get a little more speed of rotation right here if everything was happening.
And to be able to get far enough away from the board to not hit your toes or your feet, but keep close enough that you can make the dive is a tough thing to do for them.
And we have to credit Dean for a perfect pike position. Face and body completely stuck to the legs. That's exactly what the judges want to see. So a total of 54 points here for Dean. Here's Arnaud Corbeil from Camo. Back 2.5 somersault pike. Nice. Very consistent list of dives so far.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Right?
He's been perfectly vertical in every dive.
So this one a little bit far from the board, so obviously the judges are going to deduct for that, but finding the vertical, could have aligned his arms a little bit better with the rest of the body, but still limiting the damage, 57 points. Good job for Arnaud. All right. You said it before. This is a big dive coming. Forward, 4.5 somersault tuck. This can make a huge difference in this event for Nathan with a 3.8 degree of difficulty.
This is a dive that can go plus 100 points.
We've seen it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, being a new event for him, he's holding back a little bit on the hurdle, on the approach. The moment he gets that confidence to go 100%, I think we're going to see some magical things from him. So right here, came out a little bit short from the vertical.
He just needs some competition experience.
He's got to, you know what? You're right. He's got to compete. He's got to be in these situations more often.
And he's got the competition experience,
all there.
just not in this event.
It's all there, though. All right, Cedric, forward, 3.5 somersault pike. Okay. Well, so he's been having a great event so far, so we have to call this a little bit of a miss for him. Jumped a little far from the board. Body keeps rolling at the end, but still manages to get a good entry in the water.
Very solid list of dives so far.
Absolutely. After 5 dives, 65.1. Should probably conserve the lead after this. And the more Cedric gets to experience these types of events where he can line up 5 or 6 dives in a row, the better it's going to be for everything internationally.
Yeah, internationally, you miss 1 dive, you miss 2 dives, you're completely out of it.
There's not much forgiving.
No, especially in the men's 3-meter. That is a hard event to do well in.
All right, here comes Tasman now. Back, 2.5 somersault pike. Okay, came out of that rotation a little bit too soon. What did you think of that, Riley?
Yeah, I just thought it dropped over the flip a little bit early, and then looked like he dropped his legs instead of holding in the in-curve position. Could have helped him bring it around just a little bit.
Those abdominal muscles at the end there, when you come out a bit short from vertical, you got to keep them so tight so your legs follow the body.
Again, not a large miss, but I know he would have liked to have that one back.
Thomas also doing well, fighting to claw his way up to 2nd place, maybe even first.
An opportunity to maybe stretch out his lead on Tasman just a little bit.
That's right, with a big degree of difficulty, 3.4 for an inward 3.5 somersault tuck.
Wow.
Nicely done. Beautiful inward 3.5 tuck here. You said it before, he's so strong, and you could see how deep he pushes that board, uses every inch of the way it pushes to its max.
And it's really cool to see Thomas doing well. He changed up his training regimen a little bit going down to Tennessee, and it seems to be paying off for him. He's having fun in the pool, enjoying himself in the competition, doing well, so really happy to see that with Thomas.
New environment sometimes is good news.
Absolutely.
New coach, new place, new pool.
You got to find what works for you as an athlete.
Absolutely. All right. Emmett Resor now. Inward 2.5 somersault pike. Oh, okay. I think I know what happened here. So I think it's fair to say that Emmett felt close to the board, therefore kept his head in right here, and that keeps the body rotating, right?
I think he felt like he maybe pressed his legs a little bit too far over the board before he threw his arms, and then, yeah, that feeling of thinking you're close, you duck that head just so you don't take the board.
You're protecting yourself, right? So this is what I saw from this dive. So unfortunately, a bit of a mistake here for Emmett, but one more to go for this event. Here comes Sam McCaffrey, reverse 2.5 somersault pike. Oh, nice takeoff. Beautiful in the air. A little bit of an overreaction right here.
That confidence. You need just a little more confidence in the bottom.
No need to overstretch, over arch to go reach that water. You had all the space in the world. So 46.5 is the total on this one.
He knows it was a small error, but it cost him a lot of points.
All right, so with one more to go, Cedric Fofana in the lead, 30 points ahead, more or less. Thomas Chiprick now in second. Tasman not far behind with one more dive to go. So it's going to be a battle all the way to the end. Nathan Zombor-Murray also can climb up with a solid last dive.
Pretty close between 7th and 4th. Wow.
Oh, yes. Well, like you said, it's not over until the last dive. So that can make the difference between, you know, the bottom of the podium or 7th place. So
yeah.
See what the boys have in line for the last round of dives, 6th and final round. Here comes Dean Kalfakakos from the Point Claire Diving Club. His last dive, reverse 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twist.
He did a beautiful one of these to make it into the final this morning. I think
just got him in there.
Just got him in there.
Oh, okay, good, really good dive. Just a little bit past the vertical here.
And that will be one that he'll eventually want to add one more twist to.
And I think he'll be really good at doing that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful twister, a really tight twisting position, so that makes it helpful. So everything in time, of course. 52.2 is the total for Dean's last dive. Here comes Arno. He'll be doing the same dive. Reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twists, 2.9 degree of difficulty. Nice. That's really well done.
And he had a consistent day today.
Oh, absolutely. No major mistakes on any dives. So we mentioned before, there's a bit of a mathematical equation here in the degree of difficulty that sort of sets you back a little bit, but Arno just had 6 solid dives and now knows what to build on with harder degree of difficulty in the future. All right, last dive for Nathan now. Forward 2.5 with 2 twists in the pike position.
See if you can end strong in this one, get some confidence up for the next competition.
Nice! Wow. I think he was listening to you.
See, that's what he's capable of right there.
Yes, absolutely. So, great control on the board. And I know that's not his favorite dive, but to be finishing off the competition, maybe it just took a little bit of pressure off himself on the last one. Okay. Iwa, the coach, knows what kind of work there is ahead of them, but 78.2 to round it up.
Really solid way for him to finish. I know he would have wanted better, but
look, there's so much beautiful, good, strong diving coming from Nathan in the future years. I'm not worried about that at all. Okay, massive dive here. Forward 2.5, 3 twists.
There's the hurdle.
Hey, Cedric! Rounding up a beautiful list of dives.
Consistent from start to finish.
Absolutely.
And diving well.
And that'll feel really good for him. I think in a pressure situation, it's the finals. He will remain in the lead of this event, I think, with this dive. Look, the high degree of difficulty, 72.15. No wonder he's running. I think he'll be very happy with this performance. And I'm just happy to see that he, in a finals, has managed to really round up 6 beautiful dives. That's what he needs to understand that he's capable of.
And that consistency is just the only thing stopping him from doing amazing things.
Absolutely.
And man has been working on that.
Oh, yes. One step at a time. Okay, Tasman. Last dive for him. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck.
Is his first spot on the podium? See how we can do this one. Oh, so close.
A little bit of hesitation at the end there. You've got to come out of that tuck position right here and really get that body around to find the vertical. So leaving a few points on the table still. 56.1 for Tasman. Clearly disappointed with the overall performance. But we all know he can do better than that, right?
I think it's a really good competition for him to grow on. He was composed in all of his hurdles.
And that's what happens in the next few hours, right? Is you got to sit down and evaluate where did things go wrong.
Another
so that it
massive
gets
dive.
better. Yep.
109C for Thomas.
Forward 4.5 somersault tucked for Thomas to finish off the event. 3.8 degree of difficulty. Hey! Wow, what a dive. A bit stuck on the board. We could hear the banging right there, but did not panic. Tight tuck position. And that's the difficulty on that dive. I've done that one before. To keep a tight tuck position for all of the 4 rotations is very demanding. So, especially if you're moving forward a little bit. So, yeah, you can be happy
Fists
about
up.
that. 79.8.
There we go.
And again, another 6 dive list. There's Jane, his relatively new coach. It's working out well, and I'm happy to see Thomas happy and happy to see him dive well in this competition.
Great to see Thomas smiling again.
Yeah. Not easy to change everything at once.
No,
you know?
no, not easy, not easy at all.
Okay, here's Emmett. His last dive, forward 2.5 somersault, 2 twist pike. Oh, just a tiny bit missing at the end there. There was enough space to fully complete the dive. Jumps a little bit forward. If you keep your head in at the end there, body is not going to stop rotating.
And you see him coming into the twist just a little bit close to the water. It's hard to really get the hips and everything squared out to get a perfect entry on, but a lot of potential for Emmett.
Knows what to work on, definitely after 6 dives. And one more dive to go in this event. Sam McCaffrey, inward 2.5 somersault pike. Beautiful. I'm sure he will want to take back that first round dive because the rest of the event was really good for Sam.
And I think that's one of the things he can reflect on is just what was it that he just missed in the first dive, and if he figures that out, he's got a great set of dives to come together.
It can be just learning how to manage your nerves on the first round dive, right? So 67.5 is the score on his last one. And here are the standings. Cedric Fofana, national champion, 432.6. That is a great score for him. Thomas Chiprick in second with 409.85. And Tasman with 372.05 rounds up the podium. And Nathan's not too far. And like we said, just a bit of work to be done there in terms of getting acquainted with the 3-meter springboard?
Definitely a different event, and you can tell from the way it happened, but I know he's got lots to go.
I could see from the smile on your face that you're happy you don't have to make that acquaintance, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you very much for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow. And Nathan, I believe you'll be back on the mic for the men's 10-meter finals, which we'll be watching together on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Good. I like working with you. All right. Have a good night, everybody. And we'll be on same time tomorrow for the finals.
The medals and gifts will be presented by Cesar Henderson, coach from Camo.
César Henderson du club de Cabo.
The winner of the bronze medal
En troisième position avec la médaille de bronze.
from Saskatoon Dive Club, Tasman Abramovich. And your winner of the silver medal
En deuxième position avec la médaille d'argent.
from Point Claire Dive Club, Thomas Cyprian. Your winner of the gold medal in your 3-meter men's national champion
En première place, gagnant de la médaille d'or et champion des championnats nationaux d'hiver.
from Cabo, Cedric Fofana. Calgary, these are your 2026 Winter Senior National medalists.
Calgary, voici vos médaillés pour le championnat national d'hiver 2026.
Thank you, athletes, coaches, team managers. Thank you, spectators. Calgary, this is the end of day one official business. Up on the big screen, you're going to see a highlight, a rollout package put together by our amazing production team. Please enjoy, and if you're joining us in the next couple of days, we look forward to seeing you here, back here for day 2, 3, and 4 of the National Championship.